Hi there, it's Kim Hillard, your exercise specialist at Four Seasons Fit Together program. I was just wanting to give some time today for how we can talk about creating your own personal exercise prescription. If you have met with Jill or I, once you joined the club here, you have gone through a few like non-strenuous evaluations, and then we work together to kind of come up with a plan. And while we're not maybe able to do that in the same capacity, I wanted to give you a way that you might be able to do that on your own. So we're going to talk about how you can create your exercise prescription at home. So I've broken it down into 3 easy steps, hopefully. The first one is to assess your current fitness level, and it might be different, right, after this schedule and routine change that we've been experiencing over the past few months. So we'll assess that. Then we'll create those goals first. So you want to let the plan be goal driven. And then the third part would be to actually create the plan. So let's get started with how you can assess your current fitness level at home. So we're talking about doing a self-assessment, right? So the things that you might want to track are things that I've kind of put on this page that I've made here. So if you want these pages, they'll be linked where you can just print them out yourself, or if you would like to have them printed here at the club where you can pick them up, just email me or Jill, and we'd be happy to have those waiting for you at the front desk. So there's a few different pages that I have modified for this self-assessment and your self-plan. So some of the things that we look at here are the weight, the waist circumference, your resting heart rate, blood pressure, 30-second sit to stand, and your one leg balance, and your step test are the just a couple of things, 3 things that I'm going to have you evaluate on your own. Often we've done many other things, your active leg raise, your hurdle step, those kinds of things you probably don't have quite as much access to at home. So we'll skip those when you're doing it for yourself. So you're going to write your name, the date on there, and then your resting heart rate is the first thing you're going to get. So you might be like me where you've got something kind of there that's going to give you that resting heart rate. If you have a pulse oximeter, or if you have a blood pressure cuff, usually those give you your resting heart rate as well. So either that or the old find it on your wrist here, count it for 15 seconds, and then multiply that by 4 will give you that resting heart rate for a minute, okay? And then if you have access to a blood pressure cuff at home, go ahead and write that down. You don't have to. That one's definitely not necessary. Your height, your weight, and your waist circumference, so you'll just take that, your measurement around the waist there, get it right at the belly button all the way around. Without clothes might be better. We typically do it with clothes on here for obvious reasons, but you might be able to get right on your skin, and that might give you a better number. And then we'll talk about the actual 3 things that I want you to do, 3, for that fitness assessment. So the first one is that 30-second sit to stand, and I'm going to try. Hopefully I might have to go a little bit lower for you to see that. I've got my chair here. And if you have a folding chair at home, we use this one because it's the most universal chair, right? Those are everywhere. But if you don't, any chair that you have around will work for this. So remember that all you're going to do is kind of come to a comfortable position in front of that chair. I've got my feet about hip distance apart, shoulders back and down, and I'm going to come down, barely sit, and come back up. But I do want those buttons to touch. Down and up. Down and up. What I want you to work on not doing is pushing off of those legs. And if you cannot quite get up yet without pushing off of your legs, you're going to write that down. Either give yourself a 0 or give yourself a needs improvement, something there to work on that. And there's various reasons why that might be a challenge for you, but I want you to go for 30 seconds and write down how many times you can go down and back up. Again, let the buns touch. Sit, get back up. I don't want you to rest and hang out at the bottom. You want to go quickly. All right, the second portion here is that one leg balance. So again, you might want to have that chair handy for this as well. You got the hand on the chair if you need it, 1, 2 fingers. I'm going to draw that knee off. You can't see me. It's up. I'm not touching. And you're going to just try to hold that for as long as you can. If you get to 30 seconds, A+, you're done. Write it down, 30 seconds. If you put your hand down, you touch the wall, the foot comes down, any of those things, and that time is up. So you'll do that on both sides. And there might be that you've got a little bit of imbalance on that balance on each side, and that's okay. Just write it down, right and left. And then the last one is a step test. Now in my office here, you won't be able to see it, but we do have that 1980 step that you step up onto, right? So I want you to just go to a step in your home, whether it's the one from the house into the garage, a front step, or a step, going up or down stairs. And you're going to go ahead and step with the right leg forward and back as many times as you can onto that step and back down. Now, if you're either uncomfortable doing an actual step or you don't have one available, maybe you've got a beautiful, accessible home and you don't have steps anywhere, that's absolutely fine. Just step forward and back just like I did. And again, we're going to do 30 seconds on each side. Get in as many steps as you can, write that down, and then go to the left side. I also left that little part in the bottom that says HR for your heart rate. So if you wanted to, especially if you have something really accessible, you could see how much does my heart rate come up after 30 seconds on one side and 30 seconds on the other, okay? And the last one, if you want it, you can do a 1 mile walk, and just a walk, not a run. See how long it takes you to do 1 mile. It does not have to be part of your assessment. It's just something that can be easily replicated at home and easily tracked. So if you want to do that one, that's boxes there as well. And then if you look at the other box there, we have a place to write down your favorite types of activities. So I've got it broken up into 3 categories. Once again, we've got our strength category, we've got our cardio category, and then we've got our flexibility category, right? So I want you to write down the things that you enjoy doing in those categories. This is just a brainstorming portion. You don't have to say, oh, I really like to do this, but I probably won't, or I don't have access, or whatever it is. Just write down what your favorite things are here. And then we'll use those. We'll come back to those a little bit later, okay? So you've got your self-assessment done. You've got some ideas of things that you might want to do. And here are some options there, right? We've got those 3 categories: cardio, strength, flexibility. Maybe it's classes in the cardio category. Maybe you like to swim. Maybe you like to dance. Doesn't matter very much. Whatever you like to do in that category. For cardio. Strength, maybe you like body weights workouts. Maybe you like those small weights. Maybe you like those large weights. Or for flexibility, you might like yoga or Pilates, or something else. You like some type of stretching, and that one is pretty easy to put at the beginning or the end of your workout. So flexibility you can work on pretty well, pretty easily integrated. All right, so kind of think about those things. Write down your favorite classes, they might even be classes that aren't offered at Four Seasons. A couple of my favorite things to do: cardio, kickboxing. It's a little bit unusual at Four Seasons. There's a couple classes I just don't work out in my schedule, but I would still write that down because that is my favorite way to work out. And then we're going to talk about how we can create our goals. So I want you to write down your goals, right? And I want you to make them SMART. I'm not calling you dumb here. SMART is an acronym, and it helps us to really focus our goals and making sure that all of our bases are covered. So let's talk about that. So SMART stands for, and this is something that is used in lots of different categories, but it's something that I'm most familiar with in special education, because we actually write those individualized goals on the individual education plan, the IEP, if you have heard of that. So we use these SMART goals every time we write goals, and it's like I said, it's something used often in business and that kind of thing. So you want that goal to be very specific, right? It's got a target there. You're going to target in and hone in on exactly what you want to see happen in your body. And no matter what it is, I want it to be nice and specific. I want it to be something you can measure. All right. It's got to be action oriented. And we know that that's what the plan is, right? It's going to be realistic. And also that you've got a time frame kind of included in the goal. So we're going to talk about a few different types of goals here. And you're going to kind of say, yes, this is SMART. No, it is not. So here's our first one. By August 30th, 2020, I will lose 75 pounds by eating ice cream and playing video games for 5 days a week for 17 hours a day. That'll work, right? So here we actually have our date, right? We've got the time frame. We have our specific goal, lose 75 pounds. We have our actions, eating ice cream and playing video games. And we have the time frame of the 5 days a week and 17 hours a day. what we're missing here is the realistic portion, right? I'm not going to be able to lose 75 pounds by doing these things. It's almost smart. It's smart. No R in there, no realistic. So that one's not going to work. So here's a little bit better. By August 30th, 2020, I will lose 7 pounds by working out 3 times a week, cardio 2 times a week, weightlifting, and 1 time a week doing a flexibility workout. That might work. Now, with everything, that's an okay goal, that's a good goal, but that does not mean I'm actually going to meet it, even if I'm doing those things. Those things are good for me, but I might end up staying the same. I might end up actually gaining a little bit of muscle, but toning a little bit more. So that weight one is not always my favorite type of goal. All right. Sometimes it's not necessary for you to lose weight. Sometimes it's necessary for you to gain weight, or you want to tone more than just lose some weight. So on to the next row here, it says, I will be able to touch my toes by doing Pilates 30 minutes at a time, 2 times a week to reach my goal by July 30th, 2020. Oh, it's pretty good, right? We've got all of those aspects of that SMART goal. What about the one next to it? I want to be more flexible. That's what I want. I don't have a way to do it. I don't know how to get there. I don't know when I want to increase my flexibility. And flexibility is a little bit of a hard one to measure. There's different moves that you might do in your yoga or your Pilates workout that you might say, oh, I remember I was talking to someone and she's in our Fit Together program, and she was able to get her leg all the way over in Pilates nice and wide. And she said, Kim, I could touch the ground with my leg. I've never been able to do that. That was my goal. So something like that, specifically this movement, I'm not able to get quite as far as I would like to. And you would use that as your goal. All right. Next one says, I will increase my mobility by moving more. Okay. So here we don't have any measurable action. We don't have anything that is giving us a time frame, and we don't have no idea what moving more means. If I were writing an IEP or I were receiving an IEP like this, I would rewrite this goal. That's not okay. We need to have it all SMART. So this one says, instead, I will be able to stand up from sitting on a chair without using my hands by September 2020, and I will complete 10 squats a day to achieve this. Again, there's a chance that 10 squats a day isn't quite enough. There's a chance that it's too much, but you adjust those goals as you get going. That might be something that works out well for you. It might be something that you're going to have to adjust, and it might be a little bit longer until you can get to that goal, especially if there's any type of injury or soreness in the body in those areas of the hip, the glutes, the hamstrings, quads, all the body that needs to get that up position might have something that complicates that a little bit. So just think about that, making sure those goals are SMART. And I want you to think about very specific parts of those goals, right? We talked about that target and that arrow. How often do you want to work out? How much? How hard? What types of workouts do you like to do? With whom? Where? Is this going to be a plan you're going to do at home? Is it a plan you're going to do at Four Seasons? Is it a plan you're going to do both at home and Four Seasons, 1 day a week here, 2 days a week there, that kind of thing? So kind of think about that when you're writing your goals. And there might be more than one goal. So don't think that, oh, I have one thing, I just want to lose weight. Or, maybe you do all the things we just talked about, increase mobility, increase flexibility, and lose weight. That would be okay if you had something in each one of those categories, but I'd rather it be pretty specific for you. What are those goals that you have? So here are our recommended activity amounts, and this is on your exercise prescription paper. So if you already have one from Jill or I, you already have this information. And below this on that paper is our rate of perceived exertion chart. And we'll talk through that a little bit more too. So you can read this over. It's just talking about you either are going to be in kind of that moderate intensity zone for more minutes, or a little bit higher in intensity for less minutes for the cardio. And then in the weightlifting, I want you to think about those major muscles. Think about always getting in a push-pull. So if you're going to do a push-up, you might also do a pull-up. If you're going to do a back movement. I also want you to do an ab movement, kind of balance the body there both ways. So lots of options in both of those categories. And again, with that flexibility portion, it's not a specific category on this paper because it's something that you might add in before or after a workout, or potentially you would do on your own. Probably one day a week for 45 to 60 minutes should get it. But you might do more than that. 10 minutes a day would be really, really good. And then we've got the form to fill out, right? So you're going to take a picture, maybe you can use it on your phone. You're going to print it out and put it on your fridge. You might put it in your calendar, whether you have a virtual or a paper version. I do this on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And the next week I've got Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or however it works out. Maybe you're somebody who needs a little sticker chart or a countdown to a prize. I've done that before. I'm not always that good about keeping track of those kinds of things, but I remember I had a video that I wanted, and I told myself if I got A's on my finals in college, I would buy myself the video. So I was working toward a goal, and then I had a little prize at the end. Nothing too big. It was Monty Python and the Holy Grail, if you want to know, like that movie. So that is something that, again, I kind of set myself goal. I had a time frame, right? I had to get it done by the time that finals happened, and then I had a little reward at the end. So feel free to think of that and see if there's some reward that you might like. And now we're on to that personal exercise prescription. So this is also on the form that you might already have at home, and you could compare it, you could use it again, you could change it, tweak it, what have you. I've got both that paper as well as your calendar there. So if you'd rather have this is my routine, this is what I do. I'm somebody who doesn't want to do the same thing very often, so mine would look probably something different each week, and maybe I'd repeat that month, or maybe not. I might change it as well. And of course there's classes that I teach every week, so they're different, the same day and that kind of thing, but in between that I might fill in with some different options. And you want to just look at that chart there where it says frequency. You're going to circle how many days a week you're going to do your cardio or your strength here, what that rate of perceived exertion goal is that you have. Again, we're going to be a little bit higher, feeling a little bit more challenged, and feeling those lungs and heart working a little bit more with that cardio portion as opposed to the strength portion. And then how long do you plan to do that? And if you have a class, that's easy. Oh, it's a 45-minute class. That's an easy number. If it's something that you're doing at home, maybe write down, I want it to be 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is there, and then write down that specific activity that you want to do. So again, I'm giving you a couple of options on the way that you would record your exercise prescription program. And if you would like Jill or myself to look over this for you, we'd be more than happy to say, yeah, I'd maybe do a little less here, put a little bit more in there, tweak it just a little bit. We would be more than happy. Of course, that is part of our job, and a part that we love is helping you. So if you want that, feel free to contact us. And sadly, I just have Jill's name here for your questions, or if you want some approval, you can email me just through the month of July. July 31st is my last day in the Fit Together program, which is heartbreaking and exciting at the same time. I'm going back to being a teacher full-time in August at Mahomet Seymour High School. So July 31st will be my last day that you could contact me via phone at Four Seasons or email. So I went ahead and left my name off, and you can just email Jill, or she can forward it on to me, or whatever, if you need me during July. So would love to hear from you, any questions you have, but I want you to get out there and keep moving. My standard piece of advice, right? Eat a little bit less, move a little bit more, and keep going. All right. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon around the club, or maybe virtually. You might join me for a class even after I have left the gym in person. I'll be teaching virtually. So hope to see you soon in one capacity or another. Have a great day.